Alright, hey guys, JJ here. So like I said in my previous video, I'm gonna try to make fun fictions, not make them, but read them until I'm good enough to make one of my own original. So I found this on funfiction.net. It's called How Much a Berry Costs, and it's made, and the author is Fist of the Wind. So I'll put this link in the description down below so you guys can check the story yourselves. It only has one chapter right now, and it was published 1 hour ago, so give him some support. Okay, so you guys can read the author's note. I'll start with the story. Alright. Wealth, fame, power. Gold Roger, the king of the pirates, obtained this and everything else the world had to offer, and his dying words sent countless souls to the seas. You want my treasure? You can have it. I left everything I gathered together in one place. Now you just have to find it. These words lured men to the Grand Line in pursuit of dreams greater than they'd ever dared to imagine. This is the time known as the Great Pirate Era. It was without a doubt the worst thing Monkey D. Luffy had ever eaten. The taste of a rotten fruit, cores exposed for days on end, combined with an old bird dung, assaulted his taste buds. Not that he let it stop him. Shanks would have bullied him if he did, but Luffy was a big boy who never cried. Why couldn't Shanks see that and take him with him? Right as he finished, the door of the tavern swung open, and a group of mountain bandits, their leader Higuma at the front, barged into the establishment with a list of demands already on the tip of his tongue. Higuma was a scruffy man, average height, with a red jacket hanging off his shoulders. A cutlass adorning a green handle was situated on his left. Golden rings lay together on his jacket. Lady, we don't want much, just 10 bottles of rum. He walked further in to get a closer look at the pirates that also inhabited the bar with him. That shouldn't be too hard now, should it? Oh, sorry. The bartender, a woman that looked to be in her late 20s, with dark green hair and a smile that rarely fell from her face, responded with, Sorry, we just ran out and orders don't come for a few days. Then what is it? What is this they're drinking? Water? Higuma swept his hands across the air, and for the first time, the other man and Luffy noticed him and a certain red-haired pirate finally looking over. His defining feature and the namesake of the man behind him went over one eye, and the other had 3 diagonal scars running through it, as if a bear had taken charge. Here, have this. I know it's not much, but it's still unopened. Shanks gave an offering of peace in the form of a single bottle of rum. With a flash of disgust mixed with anger, Higuma whipped out his cutlass and smashed the bottle, sending glass all over the floor and Shanks's hair. You think this is enough for me? I wouldn't even give it to a child. He dug into his coat pocket and pulled out a bounty poster. See this? I'm a wanted man. 8 million berry, and I've even killed 56 people. Don't mess with me. To the shock of the child watching, instead of taking action, oh my goodness, sorry. This is my first time and I'm not used to the computer. Sorry. Instead of taking action, Shanks just squatted down and picked up the pieces of glasses and asked Makino for a mop to clean it up. Higuma looked down in disgust at the pirate and with another sweep of his blade, knocked over the row of bottles sitting above Shanks' head. Above Shanks, sorry. There. If you like cleaning so much, this should keep you happy for days. He spat up with a smirk on his face. Beckoning his men to join him, he left and the pirate crew burst into laughter. He got you good, Cap. Did you see his face? To our greatness, could be heard amongst their joy. But Luffy wasn't having it at all. What were you doing, Shanks? The 7-year-old continued with his jaw gaping and anger on his little face. He made you look stupid, and you didn't fight. But all Shanks did was smile slightly back and with a sigh explained, Not all fights are worth fighting. Sometimes it's better to just sit back and laugh. Besides, that dude was a weakling, no point. His finish sparked another round of laughter with the pirates and more toast to themselves. But that's not what a real man does. He fights for him, not pick up a mop. With a final huff of the most anger a 7-year-old could muster, he tried to walk away, and Shanks grabbed his arm to continue their conversation. The next thing he knew, his arm detached from his shoulder joint, and instead of the blood that should have been at the scene normally, there was nothing. Like a magician just sawed his arm off for a show. Luffy screamed using the loudest sound he could make, "My arm!" And Shanks and the rest of the crew joined him before a massive gust of wind appeared in the room, taking down shelves, mugs, and even some unlucky pirates into the walls. Shanks! Oh, my bad. Shanks, quickly realizing what had happened, turned around and stared at the empty miniature treasure chest they had gotten from their latest raid. Lucky Roo, an extremely obese man that always carries a carried a piece of meat on a bone with him, turned around to Luffy and asked, "Luffy, calm down and answer this question. Did you eat something that looked like this?" The sketch was of a fruit that was shaped like an overgrown kiwi, light green in color and tiny waves on the surface that would reveal to Cloud upon further inspection. The stem was in the shape of a modern door handle, different from the rest of the fruit, with light blue coloration and curves on the surface. Yeah, in a squeaky voice that was unbecoming of the loudmouth child. Shanks grabbed Luffy's body and arm and violently started to shake him back and forth. "You idiot! You just ate the windwood fruit!" And after taking a deep breath to calm himself, continues by saying, "And now you'll never be able to swim. That's the price you pay. It's said that the sea hates all eaters of her fruits." Huh? The phrase from a dumbfounded Luffy set off the bar again, and everyone started the celebrations again. "At least Luffy got one of the stronger devil fruits, eh?" The voice came from Ben Beckman, the first mate of the red-haired pirates. "A win Logia in a world like this? Not so bad," he continued between a drag from his cigarette. Win Logia?" the child in question asked. "Don't worry about it, kiddo. I'm sure your Gramps will explain it to you all once he finds out." A dark chuckle went through the adult's mind as he imagined Monkey D. Garb finding out pirates gave his grandson a devil fruit. "So, I was wondering why there wasn't anyone to greet us when we got here." Shanks with Yasop and Ben Beckman to his right and Lucky Roo just behind his shoulder. "I had thought that you all forgot about little old us." The scene thereupon the red-haired pirates saw was one they didn't see much in the chaos of the New World. A simple hostage scenario with Higuma, the bandit from before they had left a few weeks prior. Luffy was on the ground, having been forced there by his captor's boot, and a sword on the ground, seemingly magically halfway into Luffy's right arm, with no blood on the ground. "I see you've gotten yourself into a pickle, hey Luffy?" Shanks yelled out to his friend. Here I was thinking your fist was as strong as a pistol. My bad." "Shut up!" Luffy bellowed out back, trying but failing to push back up against the sole of the boot. "I'm okay. Just give me time and I'll be there. I will say that. An anchor like you that can't even swim. I'd like to see you try," Shanks said with humor in his voice as he took another step forward. Don't move!" cried out another bandit with a gun in his hand. "Or we'll shoot." As if he heard nothing at all, Shanks' crew just kept moving forward. "I said don't move!" The aforementioned bandit drew his gun and put it centimeters away from the left side of Shanks' head. "Are you willing to risk your life?" Shanks muttered with a strong inflection still behind the words. "What?" the bandit questioned. "Guns aren't toys, and they aren't for threats. Guns are for using." A bang went out, but instead of seeing Shanks' dead body, like Luffy, Makino and the mayor, the latter two of which were standing behind the group of hooligans, they witnessed Lucky Roo's gun go off, killing the threat instantly. Luffy's eyes widened, having just seen the first murder of his life, while Makino covered her mouth with glossy eyes, and the mayor just sighed. Lucky Roo just took a bite out of his meat like he hadn't just killed a man. You can't do that. That's not fair at all, one of the bandits in the crowd retorted. Ben Beckman stood up next and took another smoke before replying. Fair? I don't know what you expected. We're not saints, we're pirates. His speech paused as he simultaneously took in another breath of nicotine and pointed his rifle's butt at the group as if he was going to use it as a club. If you want to fight us, bring a warship next time. Higoma, quickly realizing the trouble he was in, tried to save his face with a rush compromise. Hey, he started it by attacking me. How about we just put our weapons away and settle this like men? The on-spot olive branch was stomped out by Luffy's yelling. Because you insulting Shanks, you a-hole. Shanks' straw hat hid his eyes as his next word reverberated deep into Luffy's soul. I can handle being spit on, berated, make fun of. I'll just laugh it all off, he said as his eyes met Higoma's. But I will never let someone get away with harming a friend. You get that? Once again, Luffy's eyes widened in shock at the choice of words by the red-haired pirate. But Higoma wasn't having it. Now that his final plan has failed him, and that damn pirate took out the rest of his band with just the butt of a rifle, he threw a smoke bomb onto the ground and ran as fast as he could toward the coast. I lost him! Shanks cried out in panic as the boy, sitting just feet away from him, was nowhere to be seen. His sniper attempted to calm him down and pointed out that they couldn't get far away in such a short time, letting Shanks breathe normally and think about where the new devil fruit user could be. I was gonna just sell you on the black market for some money, but now you've pissed me off. And with a sweep of his arm, he sent the boy in the boat soaring into the air and plunging into the waters. Despite his body unconscious, oh my god, I'm so sorry. Despite his body unconsciously creating a gust of wind to keep him airborne for longer, Luffy's body had not gotten used to being made of air, so it was for naught as he plunged into the ocean. But try as he might, the sea slowly ate him up, reaching to his shoulders. Guys, I will be right back. I am so sorry for those mistakes. Had to turn on the light and the fan because it was getting dark and it's really hot. I hope the fan isn't too loud. Sorry about that. And I'm back now. So, okay, let's continue. Higoma laughed at his genius. With the kid gone, he could go back and take out that good-for-nothing crew that nearly ended his career in the first place. Before he could even turn around, a large shadow cast on his body, and a foul odor covered his clothes. He turned around, only managing a second of vision before a massive sea king ate him up in a single bite. The sea king, called the Lord of the Coast by locals, was a brown eel-like creature with razor-like teeth and a fan on its back. It was 40 meters long, and its eyes were now focused on Luffy's failing form. It rushed forward, and the sound of flesh ripping and bone cracking was heard before Luffy was swept into the chest of a larger man. Hey, are you alright? I thought I nearly lost you there, Shanks whispered, its arm keeping the child close to him. A sound to his right diverted his attention, and the sea king once again swam forward. But before he could continue, Shanks looked at the creature for what would be the last time, his eyes dilating. Get lost. The Sea King, with that little intelligence it had, swam back and left the two humans alone in the water. Shanks' head turned back and down, only to see Luffy bawling and trying to get words to form. Did something happen again? Shanks questioned. Your arm! And he was right. The sound of bones and flesh wasn't Luffy. He was safe and physically unharmed, but what was left of his left arm was instead a bleed stump. The Sea King, having gotten one piece of the pirate, "It's just an arm. I have another. I'm just happy you're safe." The now one-armed man reassured him. But that didn't stop the waterworks, and the two would just float there in the water until Shanks got the energy to swim back to shore. "Are you sad? We'll be gone for now. We'll be gone for good now, and you don't see us again." Shanks teased Luffy. "Yeah, still want to come with us to the seas?" Lucky took another bite of his meat as men behind him loaded up the red force for the last time. "No!" Luffy yelled back. "I'm gonna be my own pirate and make my own crew. Then I'll find Shanks and beat it too. I'm gonna become the king of the pirates." Sorry guys, I will not be using these swear words. If you want to read it, you can read it yourself. I'll put the link in the description. Continuing. Shanks just smiled and took his hat off his head. "King of the pirates, eh? That's a lofty goal of yours." He gently set his straw hat, a red ribbon at the base. "Take this for me, will you? It's a treasure of mine, and I want you to bring it back to me when you're a great pirate. Can you do that?" That broke the straw on the camel's back, and Luffy burst into tears again. "I will, Shanks, I will." As one of the ship's navigators called for everyone to get on, the man still standing on the shore turned back and walked up the wooden ramp onto the desk. The townspeople, sans the mayor, waved the pirates goodbye. Oh my. I was sad they had to go. They were here for a year, and Luffy was good friends with them. Makino reminisced. Sorry, I have to catch breath. Okay. "Well, I for one am glad that they're going away for good. We don't need some good-for-nothing pirates ruining this town's reputation," the mayor mumbled in return, but true malice was absent in his words. As the ship turned into but a speck of dirt on the horizon, Luffy turned around and started to run towards the forest. He had 10 years until he could leave, and he was going to show everyone to not mess with the future pirate king. It was finally the day that he would depart from Foosha village on Dawn Island and set off on his great adventure towards Pirate King. Makino was sad to see the boy she had raised as a little brother go off to sea, but she knew that she couldn't stop him now. The mayor, whom Luffy learned the name was Whoopslap, tried to act like he was happy that the damn troublemaker was going to be gone, was also dismaying at the shame a pirate coming from his small town would bring. Luffy turned to face the crowd gathering ashore on Dawn Island in a small dinghy. "Goodbye, everyone. I'll miss you all," he yelled to the townsfolk. He could even see the bright orange hair of the Dawn with her bandits hiding poorly behind some trees. Despite her verbal claims that she didn't give a damn about that boy, the tears on her face told a different story. A shadow, one that was very familiar to the new pirate, covered him once more, but this time, Luffy showed no fear in his eyes, spinning on his heel to face the Lord of the Coast, and cocking his right arm back. When starting to swirl around his fist, the waters around the small boat shifted, but the winds kept growing stronger until a transparent copy of Luffy's first, but twice the size. I think that's fist. Of Luffy's fist, but twice the size, was enclosing his real one. Punching forward and with a cry of, "This is for Shanks' arm! Air fist!" Oh, my voice cracks. The wind attack smashed into the marine creature. The animal cried as its flesh was torn to pieces, as if it had been cut by 1,000 blades at once and thrown back. Never did the residents of Dawn Island nor any of their neighbors see the overgrown eel again. Koby was a small boy, standing at just 158 centimeters and with vibrant pink hair that made him stand out in any crowd. He wore a white t-shirt and brown shoes, with blue pants in between them. All in all, a very simple outfit for a very simple boy. But right now, he was trying his best to run as the mace of Iron Mace Alvida missed him by a hair. He rushed down to the lower levels of the cruise ship they had been raiding and entered an empty room. The room looked to be a storage room. Food crates lined the walls, and extra cooking pots and pans lined up on the sides of the wall. In the middle of the room was an extra large barrel, probably holding some extra rum for the crew Koby guessed. He tried to lift the barrel up, hoping to do something on his raid, but it was too heavy for his weak frame. He fell on his butt after seconds of strain. I'm just saying the other word, so don't even think about it. But his attempt was interrupted. But his attempt was interrupted by the sound of the door bursting open and three men, pirates no less, walking in with smirks on their faces. "What you trying, Koby? Trying to steal some rum for yourself?" The one to the right asked. No, not at all. Was just trying to get this barrel to Alvida," Koby stuttered out, legs shaking in fear as he did. "Well, this barrel looks pretty big, and I could go for a drink right now." He turned to his compatriots. "Y'all want to bust it open?" He was met with two cries of agreement, with the middleman cracking his knuckles in fortification. But Koby interjected. "You can't do that. Lady Alvida will kill you." But the middleman brushed off the worry. What she doesn't know won't hurt her. Koby just slumped down and backed away, not wanting to be caught up in the mess that the larger men were going to create. But just as the fist was driving down, the top of the barrel burst open and a boy no older than 17 came out and knocked out the man to his right. "What a great nap!" Koby's mouth dropped, and along with the other two men still standing at a boy just casually knocking out a fully grown pirate by waking up from a nap. He had a sleeveless red vest on with jeans and shorts and sandals, but the most noticeable feature was the straw hat on top of his mop of black hair. "Hey, why is he sleeping on the floor? Doesn't he know he'll get a cold that way?" Luffy pointed to the downed man despite knowing exactly why he was on the ground. "More fun to just mess with them for now." "Because you put him there, idiot!" The pirates yelled with shark teeth, but Luffy didn't pay them a lick of attention, instead choosing to focus on his body on the cowering boy behind him. "Hey, do you know where I can get some food? I'm starving." With a roar and drawing of their swords, the outlaws behind the boy charged, aimed at cutting. Oh my goodness, let me look at this again. Sorry. Aimed at cutting his head off. Koby, fearing for the life of the man he had just met, covered his eyes so he didn't have to see the bloodshed. But instead of a metal on the flesh, a single clink, the tips of the weapons embedded themselves into the ceiling. Now terrified, having just been beaten by someone more occupied with food than fighting, they scurried out of the room and joined their crewmates on the deck. What are you?" Koby asked his savior, but to his dismay, the man who just casually defeated three pirates ignored his question, instead opting to walk to the back of the room and ask again where the food is. "Oh, I think it's just behind that door," was Koby's fix to Luffy's desire, as right behind the wooden door did in fact stand piles of food. Sadly no meat, but apples were fine for the pro to glue to. Oh my gosh, that's cruel. As a second attempt at conversation, Koby asked, So are you a pirate, Luffy? Or just a passenger of this ship?" Luffy perked up from the 17th apple of the minute at the question and let out a smile. "Shee-hee-hee." Wait, let me get the voice. "Shee-hee-hee. Of course I am. Are you?" "Koby. The name's Koby." "Right, Koby. Are you a pirate too?" He threw another apple into his mouth. Well, it's kind of complicated. He tilted his head to the side, this time a kiwi in between his lips. "And why is that?" Well, you see, it all started 2 years ago. I was going out to go fishing one day and accidentally got on the wrong boat. It was a dinghy that belonged to the Alvida pirates, and in exchange for my life, I agreed to become their cabin boy and navigator." Koby finished telling his story with a depressing sigh. So what about you, Luffy? How did you get here? Luffy smiled again. Shee. Well, it all started a few hours ago when I just left my hometown. I was hoping to get on an island to find some more food and a shower when this whirlpool suddenly appeared in front of me. Koby interrupted. You mean that massive one that Alvida's pirate ship sailed by? Luffy continued. Hell if I know. Anyway, I was about to get sucked in and decided that just getting in my barrel would be the most fun adventure. Koby started shaking again. Fun? You could you could have died in that, you know. Koby only know Koby had only known the man across from him for no more than 10 minutes, but even still, he didn't like the idea of their meetup might have never happened. Luffy just waved it off with a banana halfway into his mouth. I'm still alive, ain't I? Don't be such a worried kid. The other player in the conversation just sweat dropped and sat down. So foolish. I wish I was as brave as you are, Luffy. Koby looked down. To get inside a barrel and drift to freedom, then do it. Luffy's words sunk into Koby before he sprung up again in a panic. No, no! Just for the idea of Alvida catching me makes me wet my pants. No, 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 no. Koby's mini panic attack was stopped short by his older companion's fist on his skull. What was that for? The boy whined out, a lump now forming. Because I felt like it. The bluntness of the words caused the rose's shoulder to slump with an arrow saying, loser, somehow pointed at him. Anyway, in an attempt to steer attention away from his cranial injury, what do you think you'll do after you get off the ship? That seems to be the question Luffy was looking for. And he turned around, grabbed his hat, and yelled at the point of his lungs for the second time that day. I'm gonna become the king of the pirates! Those words, which had become the 17-year-old slogan at this point, sent Koby into an actual panic attack this time around. Seemingly forgetting about the punch thrown at oh my goodness. Seemingly forgetting about the punch thrown not a minute ago, he spread his arms out and rejected Luffy's claim. Pirate King? That's impossible. No way. Every pirate in the world is looking to become it. Yep, the casual affirmation of the rant only made the cabin boy continue. You would need to get everything. The most riches, fame, and power in the world. You would need to get to the Grand Line and find the One Piece. You got it. That is what I will do. There was no hesitation or questioning in the boy's voice, as if it were a simple fact of the matter. The sky was blue, tangerines orange, and Luffy would become the king of the pirates. No, no, no. It's just not possible. Impossible. 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 He didn't get to finish the panic-induced rant as another fist came down, hitting next to his first, to where the future lumps would take it up half the surface area of the skull. Why'd you do that again? Because you're being a coward. Luffy thought back to all the men in his childhood, from Gramps and his relentless pursuit to get his grandson into the Marines, Ben Beckman's voice of reason, and Yasop's immaculate aim. All of them had inspired Luffy in one way or another, but Shanks more than anyone. He was the reason that he would become the Pirate King. Who cared if it was impossible? With a rare, serious look on his face, he pulled off his treasured straw hat and vocalized his thought. I don't care if it's impossible. I'll reach. Oh my god. Okay. I don't care if it's impossible. I reach there or die trying. I made a pledge. He glanced down at his hand to a friend that I would become a pirate king, and I would much rather do something instead of wondering what could have been. He gently placed his jeweled possession atop his hair. That speech seemed to ignite something within Koby that had been lost for 2 years, maybe longer than that. No longer will he be just a cabin boy and a slave to pirates. No, that wasn't enough for him. He was going to fight back and do what's right. Do you think I could become a Marine? He finally let out. Oh? Hell if I know. That's for you to decide. And that was it. The gasoline to the fire burning inside of Koby's soul. I will become a Marine. I will catch bad guys. It's what I've wanted to do since I was a child. Tears had started to flow down his face. But unlike the past 100 times, there was There were there were tears of pride. And the first pirate, Alores, will be Alvida. Luffy's burst of laughter, accompanied by a cry of, "That's what I wanted to hear," was interrupted by the ceiling above them breaking apart in a large form shadowing the two men. After the dust had cleared away, they could see what caused their movement to be stopped. It was an extremely obese woman, as large as 5 men together. Makeup adorned her face, blood red lipstick, and foundation that just didn't match her natural skin tone. On her shoulders, and the namesake of her epithet, laid an iron mace, as long as Luffy was tall and then Hey yo, what? Never mind. Who are you going to arrest now, Koby? She screamed out, rearing her weapon of choice back. Before the answer could be spoken, she turned to Luffy and Scar. "So you aren't the pirate hunter, Zoro? I was looking to find him." "No, nobody Alf." Kobe's weak clarification was stopped by the man next to him asking a question. "Who's this fat hag?" This gotta be good, Phil. Oh, sorry. "Who's this fat hag?" All the jaws in the room dropped, not believing what this boy had just said to their captain. But none more than Alvida herself, who saw red. She was the most beautiful woman in all the seas. And some snot. Did you in school? No, I'm making a video. I did. Yeah. Now I gotta edit that. Thank you. No, I ain't editing anything, but yeah, I got lost. Okay, yeah. Most beautiful woman in all the seas, and some snot nobody wasn't going to get away with insulting her. He wasn't even the pirate hunter she had been hearing about. But before she could turn him into a pool of blood underground, Luffy grabbed Koby and jumped through the hole Alvida's flashy entrance had made. The aspiring Marine would later say that it was one of the most terrifying moments in his life, while to Luffy it was a roller coaster ride without the coaster. They landed softly on the deck above, Koby tumbling out of his savior's hand for the second time today. While the sound of sword being drawn could be heard behind him, a glance would show a gathering of men, all with various ragged clothing and as if they hadn't had a good night of sleep in a long time. Some held swords while others pointed guns at the boys, whereas the rest got into what they saw as a fighting position, bare knuckles ready. Shee. Oh my. Shee. I haven't had a real fight in so long, Luffy admitted, but this should be fun. Was it two groups of pirates were getting ready? Another story was unfolding on the very pirate ship that started it all. An orange-haired woman with a miniskirt of the same color, two white rings on each side, filled with orange, in their centers, and shirts with short sleeves tiptoed across the deck of the pink deck. Just need a few million more. Hopefully their dumbness will have a good sum. Just as she was about to open the door, it swung open, and the man came eye to eye with the ship's intruder. Before a word could be uttered by either side, a foot came crashing into the man's family jewels. Ooh. Before he went unconscious with a whimper, "Serve that freak right." And boy, was the girl's prior hope answered. In the room, there were at least 5 million berries worth of just cash, and that wasn't even counting the gold and other non-metal valuables. Eyes now the berry sign. She started to load her bags, only vaguely hearing the sound of commotion outside. The first line of men, armed with cheap swords, charged forward. They didn't stand a chance, as Luffy's fist smashed them down one by one. Without even moving his feet, it was as if they had lined up. In a single pile for his fist. The gunmen of the group attempted to take fire, but before they could let loose, Luffy once again grabbed Koby's frame and ran screaming. The larger boy's arm seized the post in the middle of the tier, and instead of force willing him to be stopped, his arm detached from his shoulder. There wasn't any blood or even exposed skin, but a swirl of greenish fluid where the stump of the arm should be, and the same pattern on how the remote arm. Instantly, all the men that laid witness to that feat dropped their jaws to the ground, yelling, "What the hell are you?" in perfect unison. This wasn't Luffy's first time dealing with shock whenever he showcased his powers. Ace nearly had a heart attack when her bear claw swiped cleanly in half, only for him to come back together again. A voice interrupted his musing. He must have eaten one of those devil fruits. I just thought they were a myth. Alvida had gotten back up to the surface of the floor and had calmed down enough to speak full sentences. They say that they give you great powers, but if you eat them, you'll never be able to swim again. That's right, I ate the win-win fruit. And now I'm a win-man, the newly revealed devil fruit user confirmed. Or am I an airman? It doesn't matter. You're still going to die at my hands. Turning around to her cabin boy, she asked again, Koby, who's the most beautiful woman in all the seas? What? Koby's automatic answer, a habit built over 2 years of abuse, was halted as he remembered the words told below his floors about how he should be happy to die for his dreams. That is what it was up. That is, I am so sorry. Oh my gosh. That picture cleaned up. That it was up to him to know if he could accomplish his dream. He paused for a breath of air before finishing his sentence. Oh, sure as hell aren't. You're the ugliest, fattest, meanest beast to walk this earth. I said it. I did it. I stood up for myself. I may die right here, but I don't care. I won in the end. But Luffy just let out the biggest laugh he had in months, moving faster than anyone on the ship could see to intercept the mace now flying towards the head of the board. Well said. The mace have been used to kill countless men, and the tool of Koby's slavery was stopped dead in its track. Luffy's right palm was jutted out, a green barrier holding it from crushing the tool. Sorry, but I can't let you kill my friend today. The pink pirate was in shock too. She had never failed before, and now this boy had suddenly appeared, giving cabin boy some ideas about being a marine. Followed by taking out her swordsman like it was playtime for him. She had enough and pulled back for round two, but her iron mace would not budge like a great force was holding it in place. Oh yeah, I also made sure to keep the wind currents around your mace moving in such a way that you can't move it at all. It's stuck in place. Luffy's verbal explanation answered her mental question. He tossed his left and free hand out. A gust of wind large enough to capsize a medium-sized boat was created on board the ship. Barrels, rope, and even the nails of the floor were strained up in the artificial wind. Koby was holding onto the forward mast, praying for their life to not die here and not. The cannon further got swept up into the tornado of man, steel, and screams as it moved toward the bow and soon forcefully disassembled, giving them a free light for 100 of miles. As for Alvida herself, her mace was finally freed from Luffy's wind prison and gave her the chance to attack once more. Before she could move a muscle, a fist was lodged into her fat rolls, creating a ripple effect as the force was dispersed over her large surface area. She was lifted into the air, and with the help of wind currents, not even Luffy was that strong to use rostering to send her flying. The former captain of the Alvida pirates was no more than a twinkle in the sky. Later on, Koby would swear that he also heard something about flying off again, but might have been his ears playing with him. With that threat taken care of, and the wind subsiding, Luffy turned back around and finally asked for a boat. Before Cannon rocked the water next to the cruise ship on the left, he quickly muttered F under his breath, while once again grabbing his smaller friend's hand. Hey, do you know where the lifeboats are? We kinda gotta hurry. Another cannonball hit. This time on the left side that finally let the boys see the cause of their rush. 3 marine battleships had lined up and aimed at the very noticeable pink pirate ship docked next to the civilian vessel. Heeding Koby's words and having found what looked like a rope pulley system, taking a leap of faith, the two more just Luffy, Koby was still screaming his head off, jumped overboard and landed on a small dinghy with one other passenger already on board. She had orange hair and a miniskirt that was hidden by 2 overflowing bags of valuables. Ignoring or not hearing the woman's call to name himself, the larger of the new arrivals turned around and set both arms out forward, lined up his shoulders and palms, making them facing forwards once again. As if God himself answered their call, a large tailwind of green color appeared and 3 seafarers rocketed forward, the siege above the siege out of their eyesight within minutes. Sorry. So what's your name? Nami sure as hell hadn't been expecting to share the lifeboat with anyone else. She had taken as much money as her bag could fit when she had heard commotion aboard. Trying not to get caught up in it, her escape boat was placed on the other side of the vessel. That was all before the Marines started to fire next to her, and the source of the aforementioned commotion joined her. Once they landed down, her with water, her uninvited guests then made wind appear from nowhere. The implications of what could mean for navigation and weather weren't lost on Nami, but wasn't her main concern right now. She had no idea what the intentions of the man across from her were, and judging by the feat of strength displayed, this wasn't a battle she would be able to win. The name's Monkey D. Luffy. He aimed his thumb at himself before also pointing to the body next to him. And this is Koby. He didn't look like a threat right now. A smile was adorning his face, and any weapon couldn't have been hidden in the loose clothing he was wearing, I guess. But he was still a man, so the navigator wasn't going to make use of her bodily appeal to score goodwill. Wasn't going to not make use. I thought that was weird. Leaning in forward just to start exposing the top of her breast, Luffy, she started, "Thank you for saving me. I was sure that I was going to end up as red meat for those men back then," she nearly whispered. "I don't think I would have lived without you." Well, she hated doing it. Using her body like this had been a sure way to get her out of trouble in the past, and she hoped it would work again. But to her dismay, it failed, and Luffy just returned with a grin. "You're welcome." Clicking her tongue in disappointment, she turned around to the less intimidating man with her, inquiring about what he was doing here and what had happened with when not 10 minutes ago. Before she could switch to talking to Koby, Luffy chimed in again. "What's your name? I told you mine, so you should tell me yours." It couldn't hurt, and it's not like Nami would ever see him again once they reached the land, so the thief told the truth. "Me? I'm Nami, and I'm a thief that only steals from pirates. I hate them above anything else," she said boastfully, but also with malice. "And I'm going to get 100 million berry." "Why 100 million? That's a lot of money, you know. I have to buy this certain village." The words came out sullenly before her face hardened again. "But that's all you're getting out of me." "Okay, you're kind of weird, you know," Luffy said. "What do you mean by that?" she roared out before punching the boy's arm. The aura of what she had done set in after her fist connected. "This dude just performed an act of God, and I just punched him. I'm sorry, Belmere, for dying this early." But to her shock, he just pouted like a dog and whined. "Ow, that hurt." Nami just sweat dropped at it all and wondered what the hell she had gotten herself into. Now that Luffy had started to complain about how not having meat, who worries about who worries about meat while in the middle of the sea, her attention was turned to their witness. He looked more normal to her knowledge. Couldn't conjure a hurricane. "What is with your friend?" she asked. Koby replied, "He's just like that. The first time I met him, he just wouldn't shut up about food until we got some." The girl edged on in curiosity. "And the winds?" But the dingish small ship didn't give any private space, so the topic of her musing gave his answer. "I ate the wind fruit, so now I'm a windman." To demonstrate his powers, his right hand came out in front of Nami, the palm facing upward, and started to grow a green tornado. In the middle, it grew no larger than 7 centimeters tall, but that was deemed enough. "But I thought the devil fruit eaters were just a myth." Nami could be mistaken for thinking so. So, the East Blue, the East Blue where she had lived all her life was the weakest of the 4 seas. The most powerful beings that her eyes had laid witness to were fishmen. So, tales of men that could generate earthquakes with a punch or start firestorms could be hard to believe, but now the evidence was sitting in front of her. "Nope, they're real. Lost my power to swim, but I never learned anyway." Turning back to Koby, the older boy asked where they would be sailing to. He was hungry and wanted to eat. "We should be heading to Shellstown right now. And where is even a marine base? Then there's even a marine base there. Sorry. Koby responded after checking their map. He's right, and this weather means we should reach by tomorrow night. Nami added. Wow, it's so cool that you can tell the weather so easily. Luffy praised with wonder on his face. Ha, it's nothing. I'm the best navigator in all of East Blue, Nami boasted once again. That gave Luffy a great idea, and a glint appeared in his ideas. Koby could guess what the other man was going to ask, and internally cringed. The girl just said she hated pirates above all else, and they were surrounded by water, a weakness that Luffy also admitted. Join my crew as a navigator. You'll be on the future Pirate King's ship too, Luffy asked. They demanded of the girl. You're a pirate? She couldn't believe it. This boy had just gotten her treasure safe, ignored her punching him, and casually made a mini tornado whilst hiding the fact that he was a pirate. She was disgusted. He was just like the rest of them all, probably ignoring her teasing before, so she let her guard down. Yep, and I'm gonna become the king of the pirates, he said like it was a catchphrase, which after a second of thinking, Koby realized it was. You disgust me. I said I hate all pirates, and you're no different, Nami yelled at the pirate. Tell me why I shouldn't just throw you overboard right now. The straw hat atop his head created a shadow over his eyes. Because if you try, someone will die, he finished ominously. Oh, yeah? She would not show it, but Nami was surely scared this time. The look bore into her soul, and she was once reminisced that this man could throw her to drown on a moment's notice. Who would that be? After several seconds of waiting, the tension in the air so deep it could be cut with a knife. An answer came to Nami and Koby. Me. Both of their jaws dropped to the floor, and another punch was delivered by Nami. Don't scare me like that, idiot, she yelled with shark teeth. Luffy just laughed it off and said something about getting her good. Now that she knew this boy wasn't going to hurt her, she settled down with Koby on the side of their ship, making adjustment toward the shell sound. She woke up the next morning and popped the nicks out of her neck. She hadn't gotten much sleep, offering to take night watch for most of it, despite many offers by Luffy that he could do it. She still wasn't going to trust her sleeping body with a pirate. Ooh, that's tough. Her prior estimate had been correct, and the island was just on the horizon. Her luck came for her, though. She had heard that the marine base here, led by Captain Morgan, held a map of the Grand Line. The plan was perfect. She'd sneak in there, take the map, ditch these losers, and head to the Grand Line. These pirates would be much richer than the small fry of the East Blue, and the remaining millions could be a piece of cake to obtain. I'm almost there. Just wait a little bit longer, everyone. Okay, guys, so this still has like maybe a good hour to read, even though it's only one chapter. So I'm gonna end this here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video because I've been recording for 49 minutes, almost an hour, and I'm not done with chapter 1. If you guys want me to continue the chapter, I will gladly do that because I have nothing to do right now. I'm on summer break. Yay, done with school since yesterday. But yeah, guys, thank you for watching this video. I will post the link in the description down below, and shout out to Fist of what's his name, bro? Yeah, Fist of the Wind. Yeah, I will post it down in the description, and you guys can continue to read it. Yeah, thanks for watching. I really appreciate y'all. Sorry about that. Peace.